She's so fine. Hell of her blows my mind. Hell of her lights my day.
What's good, guys? This video is going to be about a story that came out of Chicago on May the 22nd via CBS 2 regarding Franklin Food and Liquor. Now, that may sound familiar to you if you're familiar with the Kenneka Jenkins case. And I want to thank Perry for sending me that story. You've been down like 4 flats since the very beginning, and I appreciate you. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the Kenneka Jenkins case, Kenneka and Shemaya and Bree and Monifa all stopped at the Franklin Food and Liquor store on Kedzie previous to going to the Crown Plaza in September of 2017. And while they were there, Hennessy was purchased. So, I know I've done several videos on it. Chloe's done videos on it. So, if you want to look at that, you can find that in my Kenneka Jenkins playlist. Also, if you listen to what's being said about this case and as it relates to Franklin Food and Liquor, you can put that into perspective of the Kenneka Jenkins case. I'm sure they've made changes since then, but just hearing what they're saying in it and taking it back to the Kenneka Jenkins case, it's interesting to me. Woman and teen shot and killed at Humboldt Park liquor store. Now, this article was wrote by Stephen Graves. Police are searching for the person who shot and killed a woman and a teenager at a liquor store in Humboldt Park late Friday night. As detectives investigate, there is a lot of evidence to work with, including surveillance video from the store at 501 North Kedzie Avenue. Around 10:30 p.m. Friday, a 23-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man got into an argument with 2 other men in the store. Things turned physical, and one of the men reached for a gun and shot the woman in the torso. Workers at the store said the gunman also shot the 18-year-old as he stood in the doorway. That's when everything spilled into the parking lot, where the woman collapsed on the pavement and the teen ran off. Store clerk Wissam Quran said he had no idea what they were fighting about. Quote, "We don't know anything about it. This was the first time they've come in here because the customer's weak yet. We know all of the customers. These people, they came in yesterday and it's the first time they came in," end quote, Quran said. The woman was taken to Strager Hospital where she was pronounced dead. The 18-year-old who was with her was taken to Humboldt Park Health where he was pronounced dead. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the woman as 23-year-old Destiny Nunez and the young man as Adrian Navarro. Nunez's family dropped off balloons at the store in her honor. Police have not provided a description of the shooter. Workers said people have to wear masks in the store, so it was tough to make out faces. I'm going to go ahead and cut to the video so you guys can see it. I may have to blur out some things, but I'm going to play this video regardless.
Tonight, police are searching for the person behind a deadly double shooting at a West Side liquor store. The 2 victims, a young woman and a teenager. CBS 2's Stephen Graves is live at the 12th District Police Station on the near West Side with new surveillance video in the case. Stephen.
Jim, and we have to warn our viewers, some of this video is tough to watch. Investigators have a lot of evidence to work with after looking at this. Video shows it's starting inside the Franklin Superfood and Liquor store in Humboldt Park around 9. At the top of your screen, you can see a woman in a black shirt and the 18-year-old man she was with next to her in the white shirt. An argument between them and 2 other men then becomes physical. The man in the light shirt then seems to reach for a gun. He appears to shoot the woman in the store, but we are freezing it before she's hit. Workers at the store say that man also shot the teen in the doorway area, and that's when everything spilled out into the parking lot. The woman collapsed on the pavement, and the teen, then injured, ran off. Workers at the store say they are trying to figure out what went wrong. And you have no idea what they were fighting about?
We don't know none about it. This is the first time they're coming in because the customer we know all the customer. These people, they came in yesterday. This is the first time they came in.
And both victims were pronounced dead at nearby hospitals. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the woman as 23-year-old Destiny Nunez. Her family dropping off balloons at the store in her honor this evening. They did not want to talk on camera. As of the last few minutes, police tell me there is still no one in custody for this double homicide. Reporting live here, I'm Stephen Graves, CBS 2 News.
Now, after watching the video and listening to the article, a couple of things stand out to me. Number one, it says, the very last sentence, workers said people have to wear masks in the store, so it was tough to make out faces. Well, that's not a true statement, because Destiny Nunez and Adrian Navarro did not have on masks. Also, the gentleman in the bottom left corner, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't have on a mask. And the man that was in the far right corner that was checking out over there, he had his mask pulled down. So, that's not necessarily a true statement. It looks like they're trying to cover up who that person was. That's just my opinion. Then it says, the next to the last sentence, police have not provided a description of the shooter. What do you mean? He's on film. He's on surveillance video doing this. So what do you mean you haven't provided a description of the shooter? We can see it. Yes, I understand that he had on a mask, and probably for very good reason. But we can at least see his physical build. And you can see his eyes. So, that just bugs the crap out of me. Now, the other thing that stands out to me is the store clerk made a very bold statement. We don't know anything about it. This was the first time they've come in here speaking about Destiny Nunez and Adrian Navarro. Goes on to say, because the customers we get, we know all of the customers. These people, they came in yesterday. It's the first time they came in. Okay? So he's saying that they didn't know Destiny Nunez or Adrian Navarro. Okay? But what he's also saying is he knows the other people. Because he's specifically pointing out that he didn't know Adrian and Destiny. But he's not coming out and saying, but we know the shooter. Okay? And that leaves a foul taste in my mouth. Like, who are you protecting here? He said he had no idea what they were fighting about. What do you mean? What do you mean? There was a ton of people in there. Somebody knows what they were fighting about. A store clerk had to have heard something. That was another statement that didn't sit well with me. It didn't say if he was there, specifically, this store clerk, but he's the one doing the speaking. Okay, and he's speaking on behalf of the store. So, it sounds like somebody in that store knows the shooter and is not going to talk about it, which is something very common. Nobody wants to be a snitch. Now, specifically as it relates back to the Kenneka Jenkins case. If you remember, Mo and Pops gave statements to the Rosemont Police Department. Mo and Pops were security guard and cashier, respectively, I believe. I think that's the way it goes. And now I know that this was 2017, and I know we're in 2021 now. And I know that they probably have updated some things and changed some policies and just made some general improvements at Franklin Food and Liquor. But one thing I specifically noticed was this was a Friday night when she went out the door into the parking lot and Adrian Navarro went out the door. There was no security in sight outside. And you would think if they had security in 2017, as was required per Chicago code, you would think that would still be the case, especially with the current situation in Chicago. But no, there was no, I didn't see any security on that footage. Another thing that I would be interested to know is, at what point did the Chicago Police Department get access to the surveillance footage from Franklin Food and Liquor? Because I think we can all remember back to the Kanika Jenkins case, there was, an allotted amount of time that they kept that surveillance for each day. I don't remember what it is right now off the top of my head, but I would be interested to know if they changed that policy or upgraded their surveillance to where it keeps that surveillance for a little bit longer. So it's just a little strange. And it says police are searching for the person who shot and killed a woman and a teenager. But yet they're not providing a physical description at all of the shooter. So I think that's interesting to note. So I don't know if the clerks did actually tell or not, but if they know all of their customers, they know who the shooter is. And if you pay close attention to the video, it's like they both reach for their gun at the same time. So I'm going to end this story on that note, but I found this story to be really, really interesting. Thanks for watching, guys.